All right, guys. All right. Okay. So today, we will be before I go into that, let's look at course content. So we are almost done with Linux administration, guys. We are almost done. All right. So today we will be talking about web server administration on Apache and Nginx, right? Then we will talk about OpenSSL certificate management. Then we have wildcard certificate management with Let's Encrypt. Then the last but not the least, remote management with SSH. All right. So let me just give us a rundown of what will happen for the remaining days. Let us give us a rundown. All right. So today is web server and certificate management. So this certificate management, we are going to create a self-signed certificate, a certificate that is not signed by a certificate authority. All right. A kind of certificate that is self-generated. Okay. We shall create such certificates. I wouldn't want to digress. When we come to this topic of creating a self-signed certificate, then I'll now show us things, other features about self-signed certificates. All right. For the time being, let's talk about the web server. All right. Now, after web server, we should talk about the self-signed certificates. After self-signed certificates, we should talk about wildcard certificates with Let's Encrypt. Something similar I showed us last time. That's with this Let's Encrypt, we should be able to set up something like this, all right? That you have a padlock somewhere here, signifying that your website is secure, all right? So that's the meaning of that padlock, okay? Then, on this website server administration, we are going to create a website. We are going to create a website and host that website on our web server, all right? So we're going to show us some pretty things tonight, very pretty things, all right? So let's get started, okay? Let's get started step by step. All right, so web server. So web server, without too much of a talk, web server is used to host web application. That's what it does. A web server is used to host web application, right? Web application are applications that are viewable from the www. Web application are apps that are viewable from the www.com, which is the World Wide Web, are viewable from the www or the internet. That is what we call a web application. Now, types of web server. Basically, so far, we have one called Apache and the other called Nginx. Nginx. This guy is pronounced like let me put it somewhere here. This guy is pronounced Nginx. That's how this guy is pronounced. Nginx. Nginx. All right. Okay, so these are the major big boys when it comes to web servers. All right. A lot of web applications are running on either Apache web server or Nginx web server. So we're going to see the beauty of the two. All right. We're going to see the beauty of the two. But before then, we would love to start with what? Apache. All right. Apache. So without further ado, let's hop onto our system and get Apache installed. Let's check it out. So this is my Linux machine. Okay, great. This is what I wanted to show us that day. If you need to check the version of any operating system, any Linux operating system, all right? So there's always a name called release, right? So it cuts, and that file is under what's it called? It's under etc. Let me check the full file name. Let me check the name of the file as it is release. OS release. Thank you. That's it. So the file name is OS release. Why I did asterisk then release is because I don't know the full name. Okay. So I want Linux such that I want the Linux file system, right? To look for a pattern, anything, all right? Anything, this asterisk means anything that continues with what? Release. Anything that continues with release. It's like that day I was doing it from the beginning. Let me check. I was doing it from here. So this will never show me anything, right? Rather, I need to bring it inside. So inside will always tell me that this is OS release. So if I now say cat etc OS release, I should have the full operating system information about the Linux machine. All right. So let's get started, guys. It's very simple, straightforward. Now, before I install Apache, okay, it's either Apache or Nginx. It's either Apache or Nginx. There's a document file. There's a document file that gets created automatically whenever you install either Apache or Nginx. I repeat, there is a document file that gets created automatically whenever you either install Apache or what? Nginx. And that file name is called, is under /var/www/. This directory, www, gets created whenever this directory, the www directory, gets created whenever you install Apache or Nginx. Now, by default, what this thing means is that by default, all of your web files, all of your web files is served from this directory. Now, is served from this directory, meaning that, sorry, there's an HTML slash HTML. Slash HTML. It means that all of your web files are served from this directory. All right. Now, naturally, if there is no Apache, if there's no web server, there won't be there won't be this directory. So the installation of this file of this server will create this directory for you. Now let's check that out now. So if I go to etc cd var, now I check the content of var. Now you can see that under var, I have accounts ADM, Catch, DB, MT, FTP, Games, Cabarrus. I can't see www. There is no www because I've not installed a web server. So this directory is controlled by the installation of what? A web server. Let's go there. This directory is present whenever the web server application gets installed. All right. So you won't see it until you install either Apache or Nginx. So we are all set, guys. Let's get started. Okay. So now this is what I will do, guys. Please shine your eyes and be attentive. Shine your eyes and be attentive, because this is one of those things, system administrative tasks, you will come across when you start working as a DevOps engineer. All right. So let's get started. So now I'm on my main machine. All right, on my server. So what I will do, I'll say what? Yum install. Install what? HTTPD. Now, get this thing right. Apache server, Apache application, Apache app on Red Hat distros. So by now you should know what are Red Hat distros. When I say Red Hat distros, I mean Amazon Linux, CentOS, Fedora, Scientific Linux, what else again? These are Red Hat distros. Now, when I mean Debian distros, so when I mean Debian distros, you should know now Ubuntu and the likes. All right. Now, great. Now, when you're installing Apache on either the Red Hat distro or the Debian distro, the Red Hat distro or the Debian distro, the package name on the Red Hat distro is always HTTPD. That's the package name. Package name is called what? HTTPD. On Ubuntu, specifically Ubuntu, all right, the package name is Apache 2. That's what it's called. If you try to install HTTPD on Ubuntu, it will throw up an error. If you try to install Apache 2 on Red Hat distro, it will throw up an error. So know the difference. So what I'm working with is what is a Red Hat distro. So that's why I'm installing the Apache web server as what HTTPD. That's the name. That's the release name. Take note, guys. So now I'll hit enter. Now, oh, so it's aborted. Now let's check it now. You can see the name now. It's going to install HTTPD, right? Here are the dependencies. Here are the active dependency and the passive dependencies. Okay, so it's asking for my permission if I'll need to go ahead to complete the installation or not. All right, but let me say no, and let me still show us where we are. All right, let me show us one more time that there is nothing like what www directory in here. All right, I'm under /var. I'm under what /var. So let's get started. Let's install it now. Yum install httpd. So always ask for yes, my input, yes. So the moment this installation is completed, if I check this directory, I should see a www folder. It just got created. The time was 11:26. Up here, you can see that my time is 11:26. Now, okay, this time is 1 hour behind my own time. So now let's go into the directory and see what's inside. Change directory, www, enter, pwd, this is where I am. Let's check. I have CGI bin and HTML. Let's check what's inside of what? HTML. Change directory, HTML. I check. The file is empty. pwd, you can see var www html. So this is what we have here. No, 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 no. You don't need to be in the var directory. I just needed to show us that you can check the contents of the var directory, that the file is not there. All right. You don't have any business. You can be anywhere and do and perform your installation. Okay. You don't need to be in the var directory. No, 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 guys. All right. Okay. So you can see now that we've installed Apache, let's try to access the Apache confirmation page. There's an Apache confirmation page. So how do we access that? I'll go and pick the public IP of my EC2 instance. So I'll go to my AWS web server. This is my public IP. I'll copy it. I'll go to my browser and I'll hit enter. So now my confirmation page is not coming up because I have not started the service. All right, there's a service that comes with what? Apache. Take note, guys, take note. So let's check for the service. So the service name is httpd status httpd.service. Now the service is loaded, but it's inactive. Now let's restart the service. So system ctl restart httpd. This service has been started. So I didn't even do anything, everything just came up. All right. So you can see here is the default website. This is just a confirmation page that Apache is installed on this server. So this is a this is a Red Hat distro. Now let me just show something equivalent. Ubuntu. I have Ubuntu somewhere. Let me just launch one Ubuntu sharply. Let me launch one Ubuntu. Ubuntu server. Ubuntu 20.this. Keep Frankie network. All right, launch. So this is Ubuntu, right? So we are going to do similar thing on Ubuntu. Yes, Ubuntu is coming up. Okay, Ubuntu server, connect, copy. Let me use this tab. Okay. So here's Ubuntu server. So similarly, if I go to /var and check, there's nothing like www. All right. So let me go out so that you won't say that do we have to be in /var to install it. So like I said in my illustration, that if I'm using a Debian-based distro, right, the package name for Apache's web server is what? Apache 2. Let's do it and see. So I'll come here, I'll say what? apt install. On Ubuntu, the package, we did all of this package management, all right? The package utility for Ubuntu is apt, all right? Apt install. Apt install Apache 2. Let's check it out and see. So I'm trying to install Apache 2 now, you can see. So it's now asking that same question, do you want to continue? I say yes. What's it? So I'm getting some errors. So I need to update. If you're getting this kind of error, make sure that you first of all run an apt update. So apt update to update the package repository, because Ubuntu downloads directly from different sources. So you need to update their package repository. So not until the update is done, you won't be able to install any package. So always try to update the package repository. That's it. Now let's install now. apt install Apache 2. Say yes. So this is now installing what? My Apache web server on Ubuntu system. All right, so this is done now. Now let's check the service for my web server. So I'll say systemctl status Apache 2. You can see the service here is Apache 2. Now you can see this is already up and what? And it's running. Now let's check my var folder. You can see I now have what? www. Now let's go into that /var/w. Now let's check. I have what? HTML. Now let's go into HTML. Now let's check what's inside HTML. Now this guy already has a welcome page, index.html. So this other VM, let's pick its public IP. Let's pick the public IP and check. That's Ubuntu server. Yeah. Copy. Let's check the landing page of Apache on Ubuntu. So if I hit enter, so this is a confirmation that Apache web server is up and running on this virtual instance. This thing gives you the confirmation. All right. So if you don't see it like this, on Amazon Linux, you always see it like this. On CentOS, you see it differently. All right. So you can see. So here it is. All right. So this is what? A confirmation. All right. So I'm going to put off this. I just wanted to show us. So I'm going to put off this Ubuntu power off. All right. We don't need it. All you need is just this Amazon Linux. All right. To work with. Now, Let me close this side. Look at this guy now. I need to host a web application, a simple web application. All right. I need to start hosting. So let's start from a very basic way. Very basic. So the basic way is I'm going to create my home page. And I'm going to call my home page index.html. All right. So inside this HTML folder, I'm going to create a file called index.html. So if I use Vim, I'll say index.html. So your index.html is your starter page, is your home page. Okay. So I'll say, welcome, guys. This is my home page. Escape, save and quit. I'm going to restart Apache server. Systemctl. Any changes you make to your server, please always make sure, or your web application, always make sure you restart the service. Systemctl, restart httpd. Restarted. Now let's refresh this website. If I refresh this website, you see that my content has overrode what they put there. I've overwritten what they put there. All right. Now, let's do something more professional. I just wanted to show us that, yes, I can override what's there. So let's put a real website. A real website. All right. So I'll go on Google. Why is this thing showing me settings? Right. All right. So I'll go on Google and I'll search for a sample HTML CSS project. Look up, guys. HTML, okay, simple HTML CSS projects. So I'll go to GitHub. I'll look for GitHub. Let me say GitHub. GitHub, simple HTML CSS projects. So let me go to GitHub. So I have what some guys have done here. Let me check for something I can use. This is Carlos Eduardo. They call it, I need something very catchy. Very, very catchy. I need something very, very catchy. Let me check this other link. I need something very, very catchy. Oh, interior waiting. Interior design homepage. Okay, let me try this guy out. Interior design homepage. Okay, let me see. Oh, this is the design. Okay, it makes sense. So this is what I will do. So guys, this is what I will do. This is GitHub, and GitHub is the next tool. By next week, we are starting off officially with DevOps, and we are starting with Git, right? We'll start with Git. Maybe the first day we'll do all of Git. Then the second day, we shall enter into what? GitHub, all right? So just learn one or two things too. So now this code, this is this guy's code. However, I want to get access to this code. I want to copy this code to my base machine. So this is what I'll do. I'll come to what code, this section. I'll click here, all right? Then I'll copy this URL, this HTTP URL, the way it is. I'll copy it. This symbol means copy. It has been copied. Now I'll come to my what base machine. Make sure you are under this path, all right? Because your website has to be, anything you do for it to be displayed on your browser, it has to be under HTML. So your main website, which is your index.html, has to be what? Under HTML. Take note, guys. All right. So now, what I will do now is I'm going to clone this website, this guy's website, this guy's code. I'll clone it. I've copied the URL already. So I'm going to clone it. So this is what I will do. Do I have Git on this machine? I don't have Git. So I'll install Git. I'll say yum install Git. I have just installed Git. Now, to start using Git and to declare this directory as a Git directory, I'll say what? Git init. I'm going to initialize. You can see, initialize empty Git repository. All right. So I have initialized this repository as a Git repository. It means that going forward, I can now start using what? Git commands. So I'll now say git clone. Git clone, I will paste this URL that I copied from here, right? Clone it. I've pasted it. Okay. Now hit enter. So it's going to download that code. Now, if I check the directory now, I should have what? Interior design homepage. Now, if I open that interior design wherever, you can see all of the files, readme, assets, index.html, CSS, style.css, everything are here, right? So what I want to do, I want to copy everything under this guy into directly inside of what? HTML directory, instead of this directory. So this is what I'll do. So I'll copy recursively everything under this directory. I'll say everything. Everything means asterisk, space, dot. The dot means my current location. My current location is /HTML. So that's where I am currently. So I'll copy everything inside of there. Now, because we have a file called index.html, and what I'm copying, I'm also copying another file named index.html. It's saying that, do you want to override? I'll say yes. Just press Y, override, enter. It has overwritten. So if I check, I have this content. Now, if I go to my browser again, see my browser, right? If I refresh this website, what I will get is that website that I just copied from GitHub. So here's the website, guys. Are you seeing? Right? Though there's no much link, there's this small design. Yeah, Indian guy plus 93. Right? So just this small design. So this is your website. Let me look for something more. Okay, e-commerce. Let me open this e-commerce and see. Oh, for this e-commerce, let me copy this e-commerce. I'll do the same thing. I'll right click. Sorry, no, I'll copy this guy, copy it. Come to my terminal. Then I'll say what? Git clone, paste it. So it has cloned the e-commerce site for me. So this is what? This is the e-commerce site. So let me check the contents of the e-commerce sites. So here they are. So because I have an index.html here, so I wouldn't want to override this guy, right? So this is what I will do, guys. Okay, I'll say move. I'll rename this e-commerce to ecom. All right, ecom. I have renamed that long name towards something small. So if I check, it's the same content, right? So now inside this directory, I have index.html. So for me to target this e-commerce website in my browser, I have to put /ecom. Now, because if I don't put /ecom, what I have on HTML will be displayed, which is what I have here already. Now, for me to see the ecom website, I will put what? / ecom. Because under /ecom, I have a file called index.html. So it's going to serve that page for me right now. So if I hit enter now, I have a different website. So this is how I can what? I can target the other website, which is the e-commerce website. So I can still do more. If I come back to my CSS project, shadow generator, let me look for, okay, maybe this portfolio, like maybe this guy, right click, open a new tab. All right. This guy has multiple projects though. So I say portfolio. Okay. It's the same thing, don't worry. So just come over here and do what? Copy this URL, come to your terminal, all right? Do the same thing, git clone, paste it, downloaded, all right? So the name is long, let me change it. Let me rename it, move portfolio to, let's call it port apps. Let me call it port apps. Now let's check port apps. So if I check the content of port apps, sorry, I have index, I have a lot of things. Now, if I want to access that port apps, I'll come to my what? Browser. I'll remove this guy. I'll say what? Port apps. Enter. You can see the port apps. Give me English. This guy is a Portuguese developer. All right. So a lot of things, guys, about me, Carlos Eduardo, skills, HTML, this, that. All right. Movies, my projects. These are his projects. All right. Contacts. Okay. So this is the guy's website with which we have hosted. All right. We've hosted this website on what? On our web server. On the web server. Great. Great, guys. Looking good. Okay. So let's now, so far, this site is not secured. All right. There is nothing like, I don't think there's any certificates. Let me check. All right. Let me not mention of certificate yet. Let me not go there. Let's still stay on web server. All right. Let's stay on web server administration. Okay. Let's finish web server administration up. Now we've seen how we could set up a simple website in an HTML website. Very simple. All right. Very simple. Okay, great. But so I want to take it a bit advanced. This is very basic. So I want to make it a bit advanced such that I need to set up what we call virtual host. Because virtual hosting is what you'll be doing when you are asked to create a website, right? To host a website on a web server. This is just a simple HTML, CSS website. All right. So once I just copy the file into my my www/var, my /var/www/html folder, it got displayed automatically. Now I want to set up a virtual hosting. I want to look at the server configuration files for Apache. All right. So for that, I'm going to take some help from Google. So I'll go to Google. Watch, guys. I'll say how to set up vhost. vhost in in Linux, how to configure vhost in Apache. Okay, how to configure vhost in CentOS. Let me take CentOS. You see different solution. Let me check this guy. It's very straightforward, guys. Yes, now, yes, you can use the wget, but now this is what wget will do for you. Wget will, let me show you. Let's do it. Where's that place? Fuck, I don't close them. All right, let me go back. Go back one more time. Oh, no, again. Where is that? Okay, let me come here. You can use wget history. All right, so I need to get this guy, right? I need to get this guy. All right, copy. But wget now, wget will not, there's a way wget, let's see if wget will give us a zip file. So if you want to use wget, let's open this website. Let me open it. This guy, right? So what you do if you want to use wget, you come over here, download the zip, all right? Right click and copy link address. Right click on that link and copy link address. So once you copy the link address, you come to your system here and you say what wget, you paste it. You can see that's arrange everything into what .zip. If I hit enter, I have downloaded it. If I check, this is what main.zip. Now let me create a directory, call it testing. Let me move this main.zip into what testing. Now I have moved it. So let me check testing. Now that file is there. I want to unzip it. So I'll now say what? Unzip main.zip. So once I run unzip, I check the directory. You can see it has given me what git clone would have given me. So git clone will give me this. All right, great. So that's how you can use wget. But wget, you have to collect the zip formats. Right click it and click on what? Copy link address. Yeah, man. Yeah. All right. So virtual host, right? So this vhost means what? Virtual, right? So that's what we want to achieve now. So let me check what this guy did here. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, their own directory. So etc conf, they created a file under this guy. Okay. 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 All right, guys. Simple. Now, this is what we'll do now. So for virtual hosting, all right, for virtual hosting, I can separate all my files based on the name of my domain or the name of my project. All right. So let me say this project is e-commerce. So this is what I will do. I'll come over here. Let me remove this testing. Remove testing. Now, guys, watch you. Now, I'll go a step backward. I'm going to create I'm going to create a directory, mkdir. Let me call it e-commerce. E-commerce. So e-commerce is on the same level with what? HTML. All right? Great. Now, after creating this guy, then I say what? Make Apache user the owner of this folder. Now they created this folder, domain name.com. So in our own, we have created what? E-commerce. as our folder, as our web folder. Now, they said we should make sure that there's a user called Apache. Whenever you install Apache web server, it automatically creates a user for you. Let's check pass wd. Let's grep for Apache. Apache. You can see it automatically creates a user for you. All right, great. So they say we should change the ownership of this. In our case, is e-commerce towards Apache. So let's do that. So I'll say what? Chown Apache dot Apache. Apache. On who? On e-commerce. Now let's check now. You see that the user and the group on e-commerce has changed from what? Root towards Apache. Now let's continue, guys. Now the next step says what? Configure files for virtual host. Now Apache works with all files with .conf extension from this directory. Now the next step, you should create a configuration file for your site. All right. Now I can call it, since my site is e-commerce, I just call it e-commerce.what.conf. So I'll go to this location. See, I'll go to this location. I'll use vim etc httpd conf.d. Then I'll create a file called e-commerce.what.conf. Enter. It's an empty file, right? So this is what I will do. I'll just copy this entire content, everything here, right? Now, there is a dummy file of this. I will show us where this dummy file is. Let me exit from here. I'll go to etc httpd conf pwd etc httpd conf. Let's list the content. Now, this is the default configuration file for Apache. This file, you don't touch it. Do not touch this file. This is default. Let's open it and see. There are a lot of settings on this in this file. You don't need to touch it. This is the original one that comes with the installation, right? So you don't touch it. You leave it as it is. You don't have any business here, right? The only thing you can do is just to create a new one, right? So you can see, if you look very well, this content that is on this website has been collected from these, they picked most of the content from this sample, this default configuration file. You can see server root. Do you have server root there? No, server root is not there. Let's check. Server root will not be there. All right, let me go down. Let me start showing us now. Okay. Let's keep going down. Let's keep going down. Server admin. They didn't show us here. It's supposed to be here, but that's okay. It's optional. Directory. Let's check. Document root. So here's document root, right? Document root is where you are serving your website from. Where you are serving your website from, right? So naturally, they are serving from what? HTML. But we are going to serve from var www/e-commerce, right? So let's check. I think that's all. Okay, error log and log level, custom log. So they picked a lot of some features from here, all right? They picked up some features from here. Okay, we have something, server alias. Server, okay, this is script alias, sorry. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Keep going. All right, that's all. All right, so let's go out. Okay, so this is what I'll do. I'll just copy this entire content. It's the same thing. Just copy it. Copy. Come over to terminal and create the file. The file will be vim etc httpd conf.d. conf.d slash commerce.conf. All right. It has to be conf. Inside this file, paste what you copied. Now, see you. The virtual host is a tag. The open and close tag. Let me number this, guys. All right. So number 1 is the open tag for virtual host. Number 7 is the close tag for virtual host. Okay. Now this asterisk means any IP. All right. Any IP. So I want to keep it simple. So I want to keep it what could be any IP, because my server IP could change. So it's better I just keep it asterisk, means any. Then this is, what was this, guys? What was this? Vim etc http conf.d. Hey, ecommerce.conf. Commerce. Oh, it's open somewhere. Edit. No. It's open somewhere. So let's let me do something. So copy etc htconf.d.swap. Okay, .ecommerce.swap. Okay, copy this guy too. What happened is my system just got disconnected, and I was working on a file, so I didn't close the file. So that's the behavior of Vim, right? So if you're working with Vim and all of a sudden your system got terminated, right? Vim is going to create a .swap file, right? It's going to create that same content. It's going to save it temporarily somewhere, all right? So whenever you try to run the exact name of that file, look at what it will say: vim etc httpd conf.d, then ecommerce.conf. It will tell me that this file is open somewhere. Look at now. Swap file already exists. Do you want to open it? Do you want to edit it? Do you want to recover it? Do you want to quit or abort? I want to recover it. So I'll press arrow. Say press enter to continue. So you can see now I have recovered that file, right? So that's the behavior of Vim, right? So let's continue. Now, by default, I am running HTTP. HTTP is not a secured protocol. HTTPS is a secured version of what? HTTP. Okay, so fine, we are running what? HTTP for now. Maybe from tomorrow we shall start seeing what? HTTPS. But for now, let's work with what? HTTP. Now the server name, I can call the server name my ecom. Let me just give it, let me call it ecom dot. So this server name is a name that will be displayed on my domain name. The domain name, as you have it here, serverspace.io. All right, serverspace.io, google.com. Who is this guy? github.com. Is a similar name I'm giving it here. So that's a server name, right? The name of your domain, the name which, if I put this name on my web browser, it will be mapped to this what? Public IP. All right. So we're going to do that. So let me do that quickly. Let me just call it ecom dot something. So I'll go to my what? To my AWS console. Now we are coming back to AWS. There's a new service called what? Route 53. So Route 53 is an AWS service for creating domain names. For creating what? Domain name. I don't have any domain here. Hosted zone. For creating domain name. So I'm going to show us how we can buy domain. Right? Can buy domain is just as low as is it $12? All right. You buy a domain and you practice with your domain. It's better you practice with your domain. You buy it just once. You buy it once and it's just for a year to be available for you. So if you have domain, you'll be creating what? Subdomains, right? So let me just show us quickly, briefly. So now when you open your Route 53, come down to what? Domain. Come to what? Domain, right? On that domain, you click, you first of all register a domain. I think you have to request. Click on request. Click on request. Click on request. No, don't have it. I need to go somewhere first. I'm coming. Register domain. Okay, so sorry, under registered domains, all right, under registered domains, you see what? Register a domain, right? So click on registered domain. You can search for a name. I can search for, let me call it cohort 5. Let me search. Okay, they say cohort5.com is not available. So these are what that is available. Cohort5.org, cohort-5.com, cohort5.info. So these are the price per year. There's no other smaller one except $11. Cohorts5.net. All right. So if this $11 is okay, you can just select it. Select. Then you proceed to checkout. All right. So I don't want to proceed to checkout so that I don't get charged. All right. Proceed. Let me check. Proceed to checkout. Then, okay, they'll say next. Right now, this is my domain name, cohort5.net for 1 year. I've put on auto renewal. You can put it off. All right, it's just for you. You say next. Now I will not give my registrant my contact information, everything I need for this domain to get created. I'll give everything, my phone number, my address, my home country. Now click on what? Next. It won't go because of these guys to throw up an error. The type is a personal, or contact type is personal. My name can say this guy, my number 234. What else? What else? Okay. My country, Nigeria, zip code 234. No. Zip code. Okay. Then admin contact. Admin contact is same as the registrant's contact. Tech contact, same as above. Turn on privacy protection for all contacts of cohort.net. That's okay. Click on next. Then if everything is okay by you, everything is okay, $11 you'll be charged, all right, from your card. You click on what? Submit. Once you click on submit, it takes some time. Yeah, you have to agree. Now, look at this thing now. Terms and condition. Amazon Route 53 enables you to register and transfer domain names by using your AWS account. Route 53 uses Amazon Registrar and other registrar associated to perform the registration and transfer services. The registrar for your domain, 1 second, guys. 1 second. All right, so the registrar for your domain will periodically contact the registrant contacts that you specify to verify the contact details and to renew registration. All right, so if everything is okay, I can click on what? Submit. Then once I click on submit, I will now have a pending request somewhere here. My request will be here. right? Until this request will be granted. It takes about 24 hours. It takes 24 hours for that request to be granted. But for the case of this today's course, I don't have any domain name here, hosted zones. All right. So since I don't have any hosted zones, so that let me just switch accounts. Let me switch accounts so that I will show us how this thing works. Sorry, let me stop this guy. Let me switch accounts. Mhm. All right, guys. So I just switched accounts. So let me go to Dev. Okay. So on this my Dev account, because I have some domain there. So this is what I will do. I'll go to Route 53, arrow 5, Route 53, CO. I'll go to hosted zones. So these are my hosted zones. I need to pick one of those hosted zones I have, so that just demonstrate what we need to do. Let me take this guy. Let me take it. So in this hosted zone, akapayment.network. So I need to create a record. All right. I'll create a DNS record. I'll click on create. Now I'll call it ecom. So it will be ecom.aka-payments.network. Now, this value is going to be the value of my public IP of my server. All right. But let me save this guy. Let me save this guy. So my public IP of this server is 3.252.82.142, right? So I'm looking from here, from this up. Look at 3.252.82.142. So copy this guy. Copy this guy. Now I'll paste this guy here. This is what's happening. Now, DNS is a resolver. DNS is a service that is used for resolving IP to name and name to IP. So now I am mapping my name to my IP. So meaning that if I hit ecom.aka.payment.network, I'm talking towards this IP address. If I hit this IP, I am talking towards this name because I have mapped them on the DNS. All right? I've mapped them on the DNS. So all I need to do, I just click on what? Create record. So that record has been created, ecom. So this is the record. So I'll copy this record. I will come to my what? My Linux machine. I will open that it's somewhere. Recover. So I need to delete that file. Recover. So the server name has to be this. Right? So this is the server name. So the server name is your domain name. The server name is your what? Domain name. Then server alias. I don't think if I will need a server alias. No need. Then document root. My document root where all my web files are. My web files are under var/www/e-commerce. All right. That is the directory I created. E-commerce. Then this other one is the log. All right. So if you need to create a log file under var log httpd, it has to be, can call it your error log. If you have an error in your website, you get the error log on error log. Then this access log, this custom log. If you gain access, anybody who tries to access your website, you always see the log on what? The access log. Okay. So I can leave it like this. I can leave it like this. I can just change the name. Let me just say let me keep it simple. ecom dash error. It's a file now. ecom dash error, and this has to be also ecom dash access. ecom dash access. Guys, this is all we need to do. Escape, save, and quit. Now there's this file still. This file is still there. So all right, I have saved. So let me delete that file. Let me delete that file. That's etc this guy conf.d.ecommerce. So this is file to always be there. But now if I now open it, I won't have that challenge anymore. All right. So great. Now we have created this guy. But now if we try to access this website, see, copy this guy, come here, paste it. We are getting what we have under slash var www html. This is what is displaying. This is what is playing on this website, right? So I want to target something else. I don't want to target this HTML. It's still picking this HTML, right? It's still picking this path. It's picking it from the default file, from this default file, which is this default file is under, which I showed us sometime, conf then http.conf. This file is picking this guy because this guy is set in this file. All right, great. So now we remember we've already created our own what website, our own our own web folder under what www at the same level with what HTML, and we have referenced it under somewhere here, conf.d then ecom. We have referenced it here as the document root. So document root is what var www e-commerce, which is this. So let's check if there's any content under e-commerce. Let's check e-commerce. We don't have anything. So what I will do, I'll go into HTML and copy my ecom, everything. I'll copy recursively everything under ecom, okay? Everything here into my e-commerce, all right? I have copied everything. Now let's go back now. Oh, sorry. Let's go a step backward. I have my ecom. Now let's check what is inside of ecom. We have all of these guys under of ecom. I don't think if I try to refresh, it will still be showing that guy. It's still showing this guy. It's still showing this guy default. Okay, let me restart my service. I'm not sure it will show. Let me restart my service. System ctl restart httpd. All right, let's check. Do you see what? Wait, it's loading. Why it load like this now? No. My ecom. This is my ecom website. Oh. It's not loading correctly. It's not loading properly. Okay, it's like the CSS is not showing. Shop. The CSS is not showing. Why is it not showing? It's not rendering. Let me check. Let's come back. Let's check this ecom. E-commerce. CSS is here now. The images are here. Images. So why is it not rendering properly? Why is it not rendering properly? Wait though. Why is it showing like this? Oh, it's not showing well. It's not showing well. Well, let me go back. What could be the challenge? Let me see. What could be the challenge? Let me change this user back to root. Let me change it back to you. ch own. Okay. I've seen what could be the challenge. In this file, if I go to e-commerce, in this file, these guys are still owned by root and not Apache. All right. So let me recursively do it. So I'll go back a step backward. So this is what I'll do. I'll say what? Ch own recursively. All right. This file should be owned by Apache, and everything in this file, its content as well, should be owned by what? Apache recursively. Now let's check now. If I go inside and say e-commerce, right, I will see that all of these files now are now owned by what? Apache user. Let me refresh and see if that will work. Perfect, guys. You can see it has worked, okay? Because the file has now been owned by what? The Apache user. So this is a step a bit advanced. I will call it intermediary. All right, intermediary. Let's do a recap before call it a night. Now, this is what I did. Okay, PWD. Let me go to a step backward. Now, LL. Now, originally, we started off with what? HTML folder. So in this HTML folder, we saw the way that we started off with this small website. After this website, we went to e-commerce. After e-commerce, we went to portable apps. Right? We showed us everything, how to play around with simple basic web hosting, very basic. Now, to take it a bit further, we went ahead to set up a virtual host. And we told us very well that virtual host, I took this configuration from this guy. So let me copy this guy for you so that you work with it. Let me paste it on let me paste it um 1 second, guys. Where is that place? So work with that virtual host. Okay, work with that virtual host. All right. Okay. So, well, we set up a virtual host, but before then, we had to create a directory first. This was the first step. This was the first step. We made a directory called what? E-commerce under www. All right. So pwd step backward. So we created this directory called what? E-commerce. Now, after creating this directory, all right, we went further to what? To change the ownership of the directory to what? To Apache. Now, after doing that, we now went further to create a file under what? etc httpd conf.d and give it a name. We call the file ecommerce.conf. Okay. Now, inside the ecommerce.conf file, we have what? This content. Let's check that. So now we went here, etc httpd conf.d, then ecommerce.conf. Now, inside of this file, we created these virtual hosts, right? Remember, you can have multiple virtual hosts, all right? This is just a single virtual host to serve just one website. Now, This simple one is the server name. We went as far as going back to what Route 53 to create a host record, for this server public IP. All right. So we went this far. All right. We went to AWS. We created a host record. We click on host create record. All right. We give it what? Econ. Then the value. Now, what we did here is we are trying to map this name towards to an IP address. This name to an IP address. So it is now left for this system called DNS, this service called DNS, to resolve this name and what the IP address. Okay, so that's what just happened here. We just did. So I'll cancel it. So when we created that name, we now brought that name on line 2, which is that name, right? So this is the server name. So this is a name that's going to bear my web application. So whenever I hit this name, I'm calling what? My e-commerce application. Now, the document root, where is your application hosted? Yes, now, yes, it's not free. It's not free. You must have registered a domain. You have to register a domain. So once you register a domain, it takes almost like 24 hours for them to grant you that domain. All right. And remember, you must have money in your card. Can you bring your own? You can transfer your domain. If you have domain, you want to explore that. If you have time, maybe before class tomorrow, come to register domain. When you come to register domain, you're going to what? Transfer single domain, transfer in. Can you see transfer in single domain? So click on transfer in. You check there your domain. What's that your domain name? Toby, get domain name. Toby. And bring call on now. Call the domain name now. Type am. Domain name come out again. Maybe you go do it later now. All right. So copy this domain name. Let's check it. Come over here and paste it. All right. Then click on what? Check. You click on check. Now, to transfer a domain, they're saying, okay, it says this domain is not transferable. It's not transferable. Why now? Transferability, not transferable. Let me check the reason. The following domain is unavailable for transfer. It is locked at the registry. Okay. Unlock the domain at the registry and try again. Maybe Toby, you have to unlock it from your own end. All right. Then, yes. Then you can, let me try. Try this domain. Check. So it's unsupported. .net, okay, say .net. Let's check. So it's the same thing too. You have to unlock it. All right. All right. I don't unlock it. So let's cancel. So you have to create your domain first. Go to here, register a domain. They'll give you a domain. Then you can start, you now come to what? Hosted zone. to create a hosted zone. All right. Once you come to hosted zone, you see your domain here. Your domain will be here. You can see this guy here. This guy is a registered domain here. This is what we have here. All right. So you just see it. Come to hosted zone, you will see it. So that will be your hosted zone. So just click on your hosted zone. Under your hosted zone, you can create your records. You can create your records. Okay. You can create your records. So as part of the recap, okay. Now the document root, this is where you have your website, your index.html, your CSS files, your everything. They are under here. Then these are all your error logs and access log. That is it, guys. Right? That is it. And maybe when we come tomorrow, we shall now see how we can protect this website. So far, this website is not secured. This website is not what? Secured. All right. So we shall do it two ways. First, we shall talk about certificate manager on AWS. Certificates. Now, for you to get a certificate, an SSL certificate on AWS, you must have a valid domain name. So these are certificates. All right. Now we are driving deeper now. Okay. So when we come tomorrow, we are look at certificate management, how to set up what certificates on this guy. So I won't destroy this server. I'll keep it so that we'll work with it tomorrow. Right? We'll work with it tomorrow. So far, so good, guys. We have seen what a web server is. A web server is used to host web application. A web application are apps that are viewable from the internet, from www. Yes, this guy is free. This guy is free in as much as you have or what's it called? You have a domain name, a verified domain name. You must have a verified domain name. All you need to do is just to request. Just request. Once you click on request, public certificate, all right? You click on next. Click on next. Then you provide your domain name. You can see fully qualified domain name. Once you provide your domain name, it's going to attach it. It's going to do a DNS validation, right? Once the DNS validation is done, then this is done. You click on what? Request. I don't want to request because we have certificates here already, all right? That has been issued, different certificates, okay? So that is it, guys, okay? We have in this. So we saw what a web server is. Then we were told that there are a lot of web servers, but the two major strong guys in the market, in the industry are Apache and what? Nginx. So we just saw Apache, but we were told that if you either install Apache or Nginx, that Apache or Nginx automatically creates a document root for you. The document root is under /var/www, then HTML, right? Now, this HTML, all of your web files are served from this directory. This directory is present whenever the web server application gets installed. That's only when you see this directory. If either these guys are not installed, you will never see this directory. Take note, guys. Now, for Apache, because we went the route of Apache, for Apache, the package name on a Red Hat distro is known as what? HTTPD. While the package name on Debian distro, especially Ubuntu, is known as what? Apache 2. Right? So this is where we left it before we came to the system to set up to do our configuration. Right? At this juncture, guys, is there any query? At this juncture, is there any query? All right. So since there's no query, I will want to bring today's session to a close. And I would love to see you guys tomorrow. Right? Tomorrow. So yeah, I call it a good night. All right, guys. Good night.